Hello and welcome to my first ever vlog where I'm going to bring you along on the final days of publishing my fourth book. We're starting off here on June 5th, I believe, and it was a Monday morning. This was the first full Monday, full week in our new place where I got to just implement my new routine and my new schedule. So I tried to have what I like to call a perfect day, which they never actually end up as perfect as we hope they would be, but I tried to do all of the things on my to-do list, which you'll see in a few minutes here. This is me sitting out on the balcony, having fresh air and sunshine, which is a thing that I haven't gotten in a while. We lived in a basement suite for quite a bit, so now we're up and have a balcony again, and I'm very excited. In case you don't know, I am a stay-at-home, work-at-home, homeschool, full-time mom, and I also write and publish books full-time as well. It is a lot to juggle in one day, so as they say, self-care is the most important and all that jazz. I insert eye roll here, but they say it because it's true. So I genuinely try to get out of bed in the morning before my daughter and have the quiet time and drink the water and do the stretching, and I try. It doesn't always happen, but this day it did, and that was really cool. I was filming. And did it probably happen because I was filming? I mean, probably. If I hadn't been filming, I might have just gone straight to my computer and started working. Because when you have a young child, at least for me, there's this scarcity mindset almost, where it's I have to get what I can get done when I can get it done, and I don't often prioritize taking care of myself, but that's something I'm really trying to change. And there's my list. That's my to-do list every day, where I try to check mark all the boxes. I really like check marks. I don't know what that says about me. Probably that I'm type A, but that's a true statement. Here I am making matcha. I don't really drink coffee. I definitely don't drink hot black coffee. If I ever do drink coffee, it tastes more like sugar than actual coffee. So I drink matcha. It makes me feel healthier, and I don't have a post-coffee crash with matcha than I do with regular coffee. And I just really love making it. It's I wouldn't say therapeutic, but it's almost like a meditative experience. There's steps to it. I can't just push a button and have it made for me, although I would really love sometimes if I could push a button and have it made for me. But it is one of those things that I just get to enjoy doing in the morning. And this kind of color of green has become a really important color. Oddly enough, every time we see green of any shade, my daughter says, "Look, it's matcha green." And we drive by Starbucks and she calls it the mermaid store, and that's where we get our matcha, and it's really funny. So that was me just checking on her, making sure she's still asleep before I sat down and started doing my morning basket. I just realized that my floor cushion is also matcha colored. That was not intended, but there you go. See, it is everywhere, that color. My morning basket is a practice that I've also been trying to implement for years and years. It's incredibly important to me, but as you can see, I quite often get interrupted when I do it. So this morning she woke up a little bit earlier than I was expecting, and I brought her morning basket out, and I got a few more minutes to finish my journaling there. Now we are setting her up her sensory bin to go with her homeschool theme. We're doing human bodies this week, and so the stuff that I originally wanted to use to set up her sensory bin, we didn't get to grab from the store in time, and so I'm just making her a little homemade bin, and she's helping me make it, which is really cool. And just excuse the hair. We didn't brush her hair yet. No, that's okay. Doesn't always have to be perfect. But yeah, she really got a kick out of this. It was taking the organs out of the yucky, gooey stuff and cleaning them off and rescuing them, basically. It was organ rescue. I made it up on the fly, and I'm happy that she played with it for more than 10 seconds. That's always a win when it comes to sensory bins. You put so much energy into them, and then kids just go, I think I'll just go watch a show. So she actually sat and she played, and I got to clean up, and I was really happy about that. And this here is a list, my list. As you can see, there's lots of check marks, which made me really happy. Makes me really happy to look back on it too. This was probably the most perfect day that I could have had that week. Here you see me sitting down and checking in my emails. This is my publishing and marketing to-do list. I always have that up on the wall right before I release a book, usually within the previous quarter. I try to organize my life and my year and my tasks by quarter. I'm just approving the final file for the book cover here, or what I thought was going to be the final book file. We will get to that soon, either later in this vlog or the next vlog. And I believe this is me organizing all of my files, something like that. I'm very OCD about my files. I have OCD, so it's very important for me to have my files be meticulously organized. I have subfolders inside folders inside other folders, and that's the way my brain works, so that's the way I need my computer to be, just so that I can keep track of everything, because I often have multiple projects going on at one time, whether they be personal projects or client work. I format people's books for them and edit their books for them, and I also make book trailers for other authors, so there's often anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 projects that I have going on at any time. And you'll often see my work clips very quickly get interrupted by playing clips, because I don't have my daughter in daycare. She's home with me all day, every day. And so I do my very best to balance mom life with work life and try to find some kind of work-life balance, which I feel like I'm failing most days, pretty much every single day, but I always try to say yes when she asks me to play as often as I can. It's one of the reasons that I keep her home, is so that I can spend every day with her. And I do love playing. I mean, what's so hard about sitting down and playing a board game, except when your brain is screaming at you to do 500 other tasks, of course, which is always fun. But yeah, I always try to say yes when she asks me to play, unless I absolutely can't, or I'm trying to instill her with some independence and some boundaries, and teach her that, like, how to respect my time and my tasks as well. So now that she's slowly getting a little bit older, we're working more in towards the independence part, but it's a slow process for sure. She is what they call a high needs child, and she just, needs a little bit more of my attention than I expected when I gave birth. So every day is a little bit different. Some days she's totally fine and gives me all the space in the world, to the point where I'm like, do you want to play with me? But most days it's a battle between choosing work and choosing her, and obviously the answer is to choose her, but at the same time I also have a real job and I have to work, so it's one of the struggles. Here you see me working on creating the character art for the book swag that goes along with Born to Reign. I just took the character art card that I made for the last book, my second book, actually, Words and Music, and replaced it with this book's characters. I actually recently appeared at a book club they read Words and Music, and they told me, and it was so nice to hear, they said that they used the card like the whole time they were reading the book, and they would refer to it to see what characters look like. And I actually thought it was kind of self-serving to make the character cards, but it was nice to hear that people appreciated it, so I wanted to make sure that Born to Reign had the character cards as well. And this is post-dinner, pre-bedtime cleanup. As you saw, we had pizza for dinner because I worked a little bit longer than I wanted to, a little bit later, but so we just put some music on and try to clean up. Sometimes I do this before bedtime, sometimes I do this after bedtime. It just kind of depends on where we are in our homeschool day and work day and all of that stuff. I lost quite a bit of footage this day, actually, I lost the opportunity to film footage this day because the camera died. Every day you just do your best. But this is us obviously going to bed, reading stories, and trying to have that connection right before sleep time. We do currently co-sleep, bed share. That's just the lifestyle that we have, and it works great for us. since we've moved into the new apartment, I've had the freedom of getting up and continuing working after she goes to bed, and it's been very lovely. So here's me making my nighttime tea, and when I'm not on intense book release scheduling time, please ignore my dirty microwave, when I'm not on intense book release time, this evening time will typically be reserved for reading, journaling, watching my shows, me time that's like more, I don't know, recreational or fun, or catching up on any work that I didn't get to do in the day. Say if I had like a heavier mom day, then the balance I would find with work would be after she goes to bed. So, but I really don't want to dedicate my evenings, my like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. time to work always. But this night it was, because we are publishing a book in a matter of days. And welcome to Wednesday, June 7th. There was no filming done on Tuesday. We had some errands to run and we had company over, and I'm still not super comfortable vlogging in public just yet. So we just took the camera away for the day and decided to come back on Wednesday. So post-move, pre-release, I had some pretty bad stress acne breakouts. So I was just being very, very diligent about my skincare and my self-care and trying to get myself back to balance. When I published my first book, I pushed myself so incredibly hard that I burnt out. The hardest I've ever burnt out. And I promised myself I would never, ever let myself get that bad again. And I'm trying really hard not to do that this time. Writing this book was hell. And so I really wanted the publishing experience to be as easy as possible. If you're wondering why I'm sweeping and not vacuuming, it's because it's the morning. I'm not risking waking up the child, and there's people underneath us. So if you don't know, if you don't have a vacuum, brooms work really great on carpet, actually. Maybe you don't know that. It's a fun fact. It's also quiet, so there's that. This is me making more fake Gatorade for my daughter, and putting it in the fridge because it's very hot in the apartment. And so yeah, just making that cold for her so she can pretend it's not she can pretend it's Gatorade. She knows it isn't. But yeah, it's just nice to have. And then we do like our morning tidy. I like to have everything in I don't always get this, but I like to have everything in its places before I sit down to write. But as you'll see later in the vlog and probably in future vlogs for the rest of my life, it doesn't always work out that way. This is a perfect world. This is what I try to do every day, is to do the things that bring me joy, but you know, life is life, and it doesn't always work out that way when you have a child or when you just have a normal life. Who knows, maybe one day I will be such a successful author that I'll have a maid and a butler. Wouldn't that be nice? One day. Anyways, continuing on. This is my desk, and I just love the sunlight that we have in this new apartment. Look at it. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Don't you just, the way it goes through the blinds. Just love it. The glow. Anyways, we're working here. And what are we doing this morning? I think we're going to start working on a newsletter, I want to say. I should be working on a newsletter. Yes, look at that. It's almost like I knew. It's almost like I was there or something. Fun fact, this newsletter that I'm working so hard on here in this clip, it does never get sent. Spoiler alert. It was supposed to be the 1 week to release day newsletter. It was supposed to be my last call for pre-orders, and then I wouldn't say the week kind of got away from me after this, but it for sure did not go the way I thought it would. So this newsletter never ended up going out, and I actually ended up saving it and turning it into a release day newsletter, which went out the following weekend, of course, for release day. Usually she'll wake up whenever she wakes up, and she comes out and we have a few minutes of connecting, and I get her set up with an activity as you saw the day before. And then I do my best to get back to work and work while she has her morning quiet time. But like I said, if she asks me to come and play or she needs something, obviously I will stop and and take care of her and then come back. She has been slowly getting better, and now that she understands more what books are and what my job is, she has begun being a little bit more respectful about my work time, which is both nice and sad to see. Being a mom is weird. It's like every time you reach a new stage, you're so excited, then you also have to mourn the previous stage. It's weird. Like you sit and you get quiet for 15 minutes, and you're like, wait a minute, I wasn't needed for 15 minutes. It's like, thank God I wasn't needed for 15 minutes. But it was like, does she not need me anymore? It's weird. If you're a parent, you get it. If you're not a parent, I don't know what to tell you. So this is me continuing to work on this newsletter, which as I said doesn't go out, but I'm glad that I had it at least started so that later in the week when I had to redo it for release day, it was ready to go. I always try to include a lot of content in my newsletters. I don't send them out very often, so when I do send them out, I try to make sure they are as, as valuable as possible, that they offer the newsletter subscribers as much value as possible. I always try to include some fun things, some interactive things, and it's not just like constantly like, hey, buy this book, although when we are in release time, it is often, hey, we should probably buy this book. But you know, people who are subscribed to me typically would want to know that information. So I try not to feel bad about it. It's really weird when you are the head of the marketing department and you're the head artist. It's like, you want people to enjoy your art, but you don't want to feel like you're pushing your art on them, but you have to kind of push your art to get it out in the world. It's a fine balance, and I don't know. This is book number 5 if we count my 6 if we count the planner and the anthology that came out already. Not that I took full reign of the anthology, that was completely my other friend, but I do have, once this book's out, I will have 6 full published titles under my name, which is really cool. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to get to 10. I think once I get to 10, I'll be able to breathe. But you know, when I said that about when my first book was published, I'd breathe after that, and I only sped up. So maybe I just won't say that I'll breathe anymore when I take a break. This is me writing. Look at me go. I really love typing. There's something so therapeutic about just sitting down at a keyboard and the click-clacking, especially when you have long nails. I just love it. Click, 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 click. It makes me so happy. But the work time never ever lasts for long, of course. Here we go with another, what I would call an interruption, but really, is it? Is work the interruption from life, or is life the interruption from work? It's kind of both, isn't it? Should I put that on a shirt? Probably not. Here we go, making breakfast. It's smoothie day, I believe. Every day could be smoothie day. We love smoothies. I definitely sneak vegetables in there when I can, not even for her sake, for my sake. Although I do like vegetables now at 32 years old. I think the first time I tried, zucchini, was when I was 30. I discovered vegetables, and I was like, it's amazing. Cauliflower, had cauliflower for the first time when I was 30. So I'm trying to introduce vegetables to her now, so that maybe by the time she's 21, she doesn't hate vegetables. But we try to look at food in our family a little bit differently. And I tell her about, you know, like what the different colored vegetables do. Like some vegetables are good for your heart, some vegetables are good for your eyes, and things like that. And that helps her understand a little bit more that it's not just, you know, mom's forcing her to eat vegetables because that's what parents do. I'm trying to help her heart be strong and her eyes be strong, and then she gets to feel kind of like a little superhero. And it's also good for my brain too. It helps me set intentions when I make food, and when I eat food, I'm like, okay, this food is serving this purpose, and this food is serving this purpose. And sometimes that purpose is that it's ice cream or chocolate cake, and the purpose is that it makes me feel happy and makes my tongue feel happy. And you know, trying really hard to like heal my personal relationship with food and not put that onto my daughter. It's one of the many things that this generation of parents have to work on within themselves and heal, so that we hopefully do better for the next generation. I know we're not doing it perfect. I'm certainly not doing it perfect, but the intention is there, and try to show up every day and just do our best. This is me teaching her how to play checkers. That was a time. You'll see a lot of like guidance. We played 2 games. Originally we were going to play 3, but she ended up getting frustrated, which was understandable. The first game I guided her all the way through it. I'm the blue and she's the yellow. This is a SpongeBob SquarePants checkerboard. And I guided her through it to teach her like how to play. And so obviously the first time she ended up winning, and she was very happy about that. And then the second time I said, okay, I'm gonna guide you a little bit less and I'm gonna play a little bit harder. And so I ended up winning the second round, and she didn't like that at all. And my plan was to slowly progress her into like full independent play without me guiding her at all, but she's only almost 5, like probably was a little bit too early for that. But I don't know, there's this weird, you'll have to tell me what you think in the comments below, if you think that we should teach our kids how to play by just like throwing them in the deep end, or if we should kind of like ease them into it, you know? This is post-game time, probably maybe post-dinner time as well. I'll have to see what the next clip is, but this is me listening to the final, well, the second to final version of Born to Reign. I put the book into Word, and then I have my phone read it out loud to me. Apparently you can do this on the computer too. I've never been able to get read aloud to work on the computer. Oh, that was the end of the day. We went to bed. This is the next day. Hello, welcome to Thursday, June 8th, maybe? These clips are going very fast. Boy, oh boy. That's okay. This is long. We still got time to talk here. So what I do is I take the book, the final PDF version, and I put it onto my phone on Word, and I have it read it out to me. And it's just like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it like an AI voice, but it's like a Siri type voice. And then I'm able to catch missing words, or if sentence structure isn't quite right, then I can catch that a little bit easier than just reading it out loud to myself, or even just reading it through eyes, like with my eyes. Because I wrote the book, I know what words are coming next, and that's how it's really easy to miss words if you just only read your own book. So I definitely recommend, for like self-editing and self-proofreading purposes, to put your book into the Word app on your phone and get it to read it to you. I think if you pay, you can unlock different voices that aren't so robotic, so consider that as well. Like I said, we are now on to Thursday. I want to say we're on Thursday. It must be Thursday. And we're making more matcha, of course. Earlier you saw me gluing back together my daughter's Play-Doh My Little Ponies that had fallen apart. She left them out to dry overnight, and they just slowly fell apart. So I wanted to glue those back together before she woke up. We got matcha, we got a full water, and we have a full to-do list. As you can see, the list is long. I was in the 3rd square at that point, and I know if I get to the 3rd square with my to-do list, it's gonna be a big long day. So, as always, we're tidying up the space, we're getting it ready for the day. We are hoping to have a good day. I'm wondering why her little table's in the middle of the floor here. Probably because we were doing the big painting. This little skeleton guy is so amazing, but he falls apart so easily. I swear, I have to put him together every single morning. But he's so worth it. I love him. I'm obsessed with I was gonna say architecture, but that's not what it is. Anthropology. I'm obsessed with anthropology, and I love the TV show Bones. So I got a lot of appreciation out of Human Body Week and learning about skeletons and all the different bones and things like that. This is me waiting impatiently for my Word document to open. I finally, that night, I finished all of the proofreading, and this was the time where I could sit and make the final changes. But I did the update on my computer, and I don't know about you, but I find that when I do the update on my computer, things tend to slow down until the next update. then it speeds up, then we get another update, and then it slows down again, and it's a whole thing. I'm told it's a Apple Mac problem, but I've drank the Kool-Aid now. All of my products are Apple. It's too late. I can't change it now. I like having everything be the same, and I don't feel like starting over and learning a new system. I just don't. Finally, the Word document opened, and I got started just in time for my daughter to get sick. She had actually woken up at 2:30 in the morning, and she was very, very, very ill. So I had her set up, and we just did our best, but eventually she didn't want to be alone in the room anymore, which is understandable. Who wants to be alone when they're sick? So I, as you can see, transitioned my office to a rolling cart and brought my computer into there so I could be with her and still work. If it was a normal day and I wasn't on publishing deadline, I wouldn't have done this. I would have just, gone full mom mode, but I had set a publishing date and I knew I had a certain amount of work to get done, and so you just do what you can, right? So I made this little cart and it worked out pretty good. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. Did my back hurt afterwards because I wasn't sitting in a proper chair when the computer was not at a proper height? Oh yeah, I desperately need to go for a massage and probably a chiropractor appointment, but these are the things that we do for our art. These are the things that we do for our kids, and you know what? I got it done, and I'm really proud of myself because I don't know if me a few years ago would have pushed through. I think me a few years ago would have said things like, oh, this is the universe telling me I'm not supposed to do this. This is a sign that I'm not meant to be an author. I should just wait until she's older, and lots of negative mindset things. But now I just think of it as a challenge, and how can I overcome this? And is today a day to give in, or is today a day to push a little bit harder? And sometimes I give in. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do give in. But here we have the Tylenol has kicked in and she's feeling a little bit better, and we desperately needed groceries and supplies and to make it through the day with the sick and the tired. So we got some groceries. As you can see, I definitely did not film in the grocery store, so forgive me for that, but there's groceries, there's proof that we went. And then I believe maybe we grabbed lunch on the way home. No, we didn't. We just came straight home, which is good because I still had a ton of work to do. This day really did not go according to my plan at all, but I was so thankful to have groceries. It's always nice when you don't have to worry about what's in the fridge and all of that. This wagon is not big enough to do big grocery runs. This wasn't even a big grocery run. But I got it all up in one trip, and that's pretty freaking cool. Thank goodness for elevators. These are the flowers I got to congratulate myself on surviving a grocery store trip with a sick child, and also my look at these on your desk and have strength to finish release week flowers. I don't often do flowers, but when I do, I make sure to appreciate them as much as possible. I couldn't tell you what kind of flowers these are. If you know, feel free to put it in the comments. Gerbers, or I don't know what they are. I'm not good with flowers. I had to do a lot of research for flowers and plants in Born to Reign, actually, because one of my characters, Spencer, he is obsessed with gardening and flowers, and when you're in his head, he compares his love interest to rare exotic flowers, and I think it's a really cool little thing that he does in his mind. So because I don't know anything about flowers, I had to look up a lot of stuff about flowers. One of my favorite things about writing is all of these random facts that I learn about different things. When I wrote my very first book, Let It Rain, I had to learn about how fountains are built and medieval irrigation and water sources, and how kingdoms are run, and how much power do kings really have. It's wild. Every time I read a book, I just expand on my knowledge about the randomest things. In my Christmas book that I got to write, Christmas romance that I made, that I published last year, made, like it's a craft, I got to learn all about Kwanzaa, which I didn't know anything about Kwanzaa before, so that was really cool for me. This is, I think we're at like 10 o'clock at night here, if I'm not mistaken, and she had actually napped because, you know, she was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then 4 o'clock in the morning, so she had a nap, and so we were up late, and I had more work to do, so I was definitely up late this night. So I had a big shower just to kind of like reset my energy and obviously clean my body, but showers can be really therapeutic too, if you go into them with like intention to just like wash off all the ickiness of the day and the mental and emotional ickiness of the day. And this was a really stressful day, so I definitely needed this like long everything shower. Maybe you know the term of an everything shower, maybe you don't, I don't know. It's where basically it's not a quick in and out shower that, you know, typical people, moms, parents have, where it's like, okay, this is a bare minimum, and everything shower is like a mini vacation almost, which is kind of sad to think about when you think about just like how having a shower can feel like a vacation. Can you tell I haven't gone on vacation in many, many years? Although that's not fair. We went to Calgary in April to go to Comic-Con so that I could meet Charlie Cox. And then Charlie Cox didn't come to Calgary. And we don't have to talk about it because it'll just make me all cranky. But anyway, this is post-shower, pre-bedtime skincare time. And then, oh yeah, she called me because she needed a bedtime snack. I really wish she was sleeping by now, but clearly we were not sleeping. I think. I couldn't tell you what I was doing here. I have no recollection of that at all. So we had a late bedtime, but we still had like our normal bedtime routine, bedtime snack, brush teeth, read books. Pretty sure it's like 11 o'clock at night at this point, but even if we have late nights or early nights, yeah, 11:40, there we go. And then I just went to bed with her. I did not get back up and do any more work because that was not necessary. And I will see you guys in the next vlog. Thank you so much for watching.